business owners.
You know, I never thought I would look back on losing everything as the greatest gift ever given to me, but it was.
Yeah, I was going
Right?
to ask
I mean,
that.
it was. We wouldn't be here today if
The power
that
of
hadn't happened to me.
the power of lows, like in life in general.
It's very
those
hard
are the
to
most
appreciate,
powerful
and
moments.
this is where I was going, what you were talking about earlier. It's very hard to appreciate the light without the dark,
Yes,
right? And so up to that point, I'd been nothing but light. I was the golden boy. I mean, everything I touched turned to gold. We were, I mean, you named it. If Kent was involved, we were crushing, right? I was the guy in this entire industry. It's an industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's not one person that did not know who I was. Like I said, being rewarded, the accolades, the money, you name it.
the
right?
recognition,
Recognition.
all over it.
Every box was being checked. And so to lose all that was a devastating blow.
You lost your identity.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Because
1,000%.
that's who you were in the eyes of
1,000%.
everybody, and then that's who you wanted to be in front of the.
No doubt.
You played into that role to the point when it was taken from you, you didn't even know who you were.
1,000%.
And had to go do.
It was brutal.
Yeah,
It was brutal. It was.
How long ago was it?
That was
2000.
2000 until December of 2002. So it took me roughly 22 months to lose everything.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what, like, being at a low place like that? Because I'm sure there's somebody listening right now. Maybe it's a restaurant that got hit with COVID, and or whatever. I don't like using that as an excuse. There are a couple industries that did get harder than others. Obviously, they need to learn how to pivot. But if they're still kind of hanging on by a thread, what were some of the lessons that you extracted from the lowest point to where you kind of had to rebuild yourself, rebuild your confidence, your identity over a 2-year period to kind of get back in the fight again?
Look, over that 2 years, I was fighting. And I was fighting hard, and ultimately, it finally broke me. I mean, I had lost every dollar.
So you're trying to hang on to your ego as long as you could throughout that 2 years.
I finally lost everything. I was in a wildly desperate situation, entertaining all your worst fears, was suicidal, was massively depressed. It was like I said, the worst thing that I'd ever gone through. I wouldn't put it on my worst enemy today. But what I learned once you gain distance from it is things, and this is cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's just true. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I needed that humbling. I was in a place where I had become very jaded. I didn't understand struggle, right? I understood success. I didn't understand struggle.
There's no lessons in success.
Yeah.
All the best gems are in the struggle.
Right. And so knowing, ultimately looking back, that was a huge blessing in my life that I never thought I would frame that way, helped me to frame moving forward all struggle. Like when things get tough for me, it's made me who I am today. Like
You embrace it.
I embrace it. I
maybe
understand
a little bit more
that what's going to happen on the
Yes,
other side of it.
yes.
Like I have what it takes.
Yes.
This does not define me. What I do next, how I react to this, that does define
the
me.
response.
Absolutely.
Right?
Is the definition.
The response
yes.
is the definition, right? If I roll up in a ball and play the role of a victim, I get to be that guy.
Yep.
I get to live that life. Now, if I be a warrior, and I don't have any problems falling down. I have no problem failing. I have no problem filing for bankruptcy and starting all over. Whatever that I don't care. I literally don't care. The freedom of not caring is massive. Like I simply don't give a shit. Because one thing's for sure, I will 1,000% leave it on the field. I will play full out. So if I fall down or fail or lose it all in that headspace, I'm just fine with that.
Yeah.
What I won't allow to happen is I am not going to sit there and play the role of the victim. I am here because of the decisions I've made every single day, and I have to own my outcome. I was the one that walked out of that business. I was the one that started the new business. I was the one that bought the company with the bad receivables. I'm not a victim. I did that.
Dude, that's 100% accurate. I mean, a lot of people think things are happening, like you said, to them. The real question is how can you take ownership of the situation so you never put yourself in the same situation again, even if it was somebody else that kind of affected you in a negative way? You still put yourself in a situation around that individual, right? Whether it's an employee that made a mistake, yes, you can go reprimand the employee or whatever it is. Did you train them proper?
Right.
Start turning inward and asking yourself questions. Well, what could I have done to make that outcome different. Even if you made the outcome happen, I still employed you. I should have gave you the tools that you needed to perform at a high level.
It goes both ways. If you think about it like this, if you imagine one day you're going to be sitting on top of the world, things are going to be going great, right? There's zero doubt that if you were embracing that moment, that you would be sitting there saying, I worked my ass off, man. I deserve this.
Yeah.
I deserve this. The exact same is true when you're at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Mm.
I made these decisions. I'm responsible for this. I put myself
You're
here.
deserving
I
of all.
deserve to be exactly where I am.
Yeah.
Every day, by the way. I deserve to be exactly
Based upon the decisions that
based
you
on
made
every
prior.
decision I made up to today. I
Yes.
deserve to be where I am today. And you cannot outrun your decisions. You cannot outrun your outcome. This is like if you're struggling,
Your outcome is your outcome.
yeah, you need to understand this is where you are because of decisions you've made. And that's the first step in understanding how to make better decisions, how to improve circumstances, how to get in, you cannot sit there and play the role of a victim because that mentality feeding into you takes away all your power.
And people never know. They're not aware of it until they're aware of it, right? But that really is the only way out of it is self-accountability. I mean, you have to take ownership every
Own your
single
outcome.
day.
I'm here, man. I know what I did. I understand what I did. I will definitely not try to do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think
But it's not so much about the decision. Let me tell you, it's about the mentality. What happens is the moment that you own the outcome. Now, what's happening in that moment is you're giving yourself power.
there's power in negative situations. There's power in positive
I have it
situations.
now.
Period.
Like, I did this, and so if I did this, I also have the power to do something about it.
Right.
And that was a
Victims
massive.
are saying they didn't have any power in the result.
Well, let's be clear. There are real victims in the world. In all
Sure,
likelihood, if you're listening to
absolutely.
this podcast, you're not fucking one of them.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
Right? You're walking around with an iPhone or an Android hooked up to your ear. You're watching this on YouTube on some laptop or an iPad. You're probably not a victim.
You're a victim mentality,
Right.
If your life's not good,
yeah.
if you're thinking that you lost something because of someone else's fault, if you can't take ownership, if things just aren't going the way they should be going in your life, you're just not on that path of all, you're not feeling happiness, you're probably victim mentality.
Well, even
But you're not
and by
a
the way,
victim.
even if you're in a tough spot, let's just be
Yeah.
clear here, right? So even if you're in a tough spot, let's just say you're a restaurant owner and COVID kind of beat your brains in here. Well, you don't have to look very hard to find restaurant owners that figured it out.
Yep.
Okay, are they better than you? Are they more resourceful? Because it is never a lack of resources. By the way, it is almost always a lack of resourcefulness.
Yeah.